Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. We're back with the Comica WM100 plus UHF wireless system for you guys as an update, okay, or review update. This is about battery life, what you can expect to get for runtime out of your transmitter. Now, your receiver is going to be probably a little bit different. It's going to run for probably a little bit longer because the receiver doesn't do the same kind of work that a transmitter does. Transmitters usually always die first. Same with wireless guitar systems. One thing you'll always notice is, my transmitter died, but my receiver is still going. That's because your transmitter is taking on the majority of that load, okay? And it's the one that has to push the signal to the receiver, okay? So you're always going to get more runtime out of a receiver than you will out of a transmitter. That's just the way it is, and suck it up, buttercups. So now with the testing I've done on this set in the last while, I've calculated approximately about a 5.5 hour runtime on one set of double A's. Okay, that's two batteries with the transmitter. Okay, now that's running the transmitter at full power output too. Now I could cut back the power output because the likelihood of me being any further away than probably 3 feet or 2.5 feet from my receiver is probably a pretty slim chance. Mind you, I may do some videos in here in the future where, you know, I'm 7 or 8 feet. So I could still get away with the low and still get more runtime out of my battery that way. But on full power output from factory default to maximize the range of the unit, because when you do go to the low power output mode, you will reduce your range, okay? You increase battery life a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. It's not double the run time because you're at half the distance or less. It's not how it works, okay? But you will increase if you go to low power mode if you don't need to be, you know, the distance away from this thing. But if you do need the distance, then you best be running it in high output. And just keep in mind, you only have about 5 to 5.5 hours. And the battery indicator, by the way, does not necessarily track 100%. I was still down only 1 bar after 5 hours. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's start cutting another video. Okay, that went not so bad. It was fine. But then my next video, I'm getting close to that 5.5 hour mark. About halfway through that video, which was only about 14 minutes, I think, after about 4 minutes and some odd seconds, my audio just went, that was it, flatlined, okay? And yet this was still running, but there wasn't enough juice to transmit a proper clean signal, so it just crapped out, and that was it. And I didn't know that until I was done the video and I went back to go edit it, and I'm like, hey, where'd my audio tag go? It's like, I'm doing good for about this much, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like lights out, clear. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. So just keep it in mind. I would probably say your safety limit every 5 hours of solid run time, okay? Or even if it's accumulated time, you know, keep an eye on things, figure out your time in, get a log, because this is going to help you to figure out which is better, Energizer or Duracell, okay? Now, any batteries that are not Energizer, not Duracell, do not use them in these units because these are audio units and they require horsepower from batteries to properly allow the circuitry to work at its peak efficiency and peak quality, etc. Okay, so if you're gonna be a Railvac person or an Eveready person, or you're into, you know, Dynatech, or, you know, any of those, or even Panasonic batteries, the crappy stuff you get from Dollarama, okay, stay away from all those brands. And I'm gonna tell you because I've read some complaints on Amazon and people are talking about there's lousy runtime in the batteries and it's just they just don't last. The units just go, you know. I'm not really happy. So it's like, yeah, well, that's because you're a cheapskate and you bought crappy batteries. So grow up and be a big boy or a big girl and go buy some real batteries, because this is audio equipment, okay? I have run into this problem so many times over years and years, well, decades, of dealing with audio equipment and people who just want to buy their own battery brand, which is always the crummy stuff. and it takes a lot to convince somebody that what they're doing is wrong. Okay, they need to use quality batteries. Okay, the way batteries work is you've got X amount of milliamps. Okay, the circuit requires X amount of milliamps in order to run properly. Okay, and if it's not getting it, it's not going to perform very well and it's not going to perform for very long. Or it may perform okay, but you, instead of getting 5 hours, you might get an hour. So do you want to keep popping batteries in and causing a lot more toxic waste, or do you want to be able to get full expansion of your runtime, get your video done, get your audio stuff done, whatever it is you're doing, and get it done within that 5 hour span and still have juice left over that you can just go, time to take out. Because 5 hours, I think, is about our limit for good audio quality that's going to come out of these things before there's just not enough juice to keep that circuit going. Doesn't mean they're going to shut down on you, because they didn't shut down on me. It still said I had 2 bars left, but the battery level indicator is not that accurate. Okay, now once you drop a level, that doesn't mean you go and change the batteries, okay, unless you're already at that 5 hour mark. After about 3 hours, you're going to definitely drop a battery, and you're still good, you know, for another couple hours, but it's going to kind of stay and hang out there at the halfway mark. It just doesn't go dead on me, type of thing. So if I check this now, okay, I still am reading a full battery, and it's going to stay like that for a lot longer. Okay, now so far we're only at about, I don't know how many attempts I've tried this video so far, but I would say I've probably got about maybe an hour in, if that. Probably not. Okay, probably closer to maybe 3/4 of an hour trying this video. Okay, and so anyways, the batteries are still going good. They're still going strong. We're all right. I mean, I could walk anywhere in this house and it's not going to chop or break up my signal. I'm running full power out of the TX instead of half power mode. Half power mode will give you more runtime. It will not be double the runtime, so don't think you're going to get the cherry on top here. You're not, okay? It's not how it works in the real world. You do not double your runtime regardless of your distance, okay? Or your power output in this case. So you'll get probably about 18 to 25% more runtime in low power. Now you will reduce your effective range though, so the maximum range of the units is going to be, you know, cut down basically in half of your effective range when you go from high power mode to low, because that does technically work that way. Okay, but you don't increase your battery runtime by that same doubling. Okay, that's not how it works. So, but keep track of the time you run and try energizers first. I've been using energizers. I'm getting about 5.5 hours, and then I better change them, because if I try and step over that boundary much more, I already know that I might get 4 minutes and 19 seconds, and then it's going to go flat line, and it's like, clear! Okay, it's done. Okay, so that's how the energizers have been working out for me. Now, I'm also about 3 feet away, okay, from my receiver, and that's fine too. I could be 50 feet away from my receiver. It's going to give me the same thing, okay? And even at max range of these units, at high power output, I'm still going to get the same thing going on, because it's putting out max power all the time regardless of range. Now, I'm not going to just cut it back to half power to increase my runtime, because I just don't feel like doing that, okay? I'm a little bit lazy, okay? But, you know, in the event that I need that extra runtime, okay, then at that point I would say, well, maybe I should cut the TX back a bit and get a bit more runtime, right? But I don't think that's going to be the situation in my case for the videos I do for you guys, so we're going to be fine. But see what energizers do for you. Keep an eye on the hours, and then get yourself a set of Duracells. Duracells, the copper top, right? Best in the world. Well, try a set. See how much longer runtime you get if you do. Okay? Because I know for me, when it comes to, say, my guitar, it uses a 9 volt. I get more runtime out of a Duracell than I do out of an Energizer, but I also pay a hell of a lot more for the Duracell over the Energizer. So I got to kind of look at it that way, that maybe that same scenario may work for this. It's possible, okay? I don't have any Duracells here right now to test that. I always wait till batteries go on sale. I hate paying retail for batteries. I think it's a ripoff. So I always wait till they're on sale. But that is the update for you guys as far as runtime goes. It's what you can expect out of Energizers, okay? And possibly Duracells may end up being the same. We're not sure, okay? But anything other than those two brands, no, don't touch them because you're not going to be happy with your results, all right? But I really do feel that Comica needs to do some kind of a firmware update, or they're going to have to come out with a whole new set of these that has a better circuit for tracking battery life, because like I said, I was down 1 bar. And now I survived quite a while on 1 bar, but it should have gone down to, 1 bar left, not 2 bars left, because I was only down 1. And my audio had kicked after 5.5 hours. So it's kind of like, well, unit's still running, but we got no audio. So there's still always going to be power to keep the unit running to a certain point, but you will lose that audio after about that 5.5 hour period. So change your batteries prior to that happening, okay? So I think, considering these are not high-end, they're not Sennheiser, they're not some other mucky-muck brand that costs you a fortune, I think it's still pretty respectable runtime. I just don't like the battery tracking portion of it. I wish the battery tracking was better. Like even our Sennheiser sets at church, they're not the high-end Sennheiser. They're the lower tier, and even those, each marker, we got 3 markers. We go down 1, no problem. We go down a second one, so we only got 1 left. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close here. We need to change our batteries, right? Because it's kind of getting a little dicey, right? So once we lose that second marker, that's when we change it. And that's usually at the 10-hour mark with those. Now, we're not getting 10 hours out of these. It's not going to happen, okay? But the Sennheiser uses the power much more efficiently, and we still get great range. Yes, they are also UHF like these, but they are completely different technologies altogether, when it comes to the transmitters. So it's a difference. And we use our system at church for our pastor. He preaches with 1 set, and then we have 2 other sets. Usually when I'm up with the team, it's me and the main worship leader, and we're the main singers that use the headsets. If we have any other singers with us, they're on regular microphones, because we only got the 3 Sennheiser units, so we can only spread them so far. So anyhow, but that is what I got for you guys on this one. If you've already bought a set of these, let me know in the comments below how you're finding them, how they're working out for you, and because I'm kind of curious for other people's results on this to see how that works out. As far as trying an actual headset on these, I do have a headset here, but I tried them and the audio is horrifying because it's only a tip sleeve plug, and they're also a low-end headset. But I do want to try out, probably even rent if I can, a Sennheiser set, or maybe just pick up something higher quality that has the triple ring, like the 2-ring and tip, and try an actual headset, because I think maybe I'll try doing some music videos for you guys and doing it that way, because singing into a lavalier mic is going to be completely different audio difference than having a headset. So, and I know it'll support them because I do have a Sennheiser clone lavalier here that works mwah. So I know a Sennheiser headset will also work the same way. So anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.